What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Rolling the Bottom Podcast. I hope you are doing well whenever you are listening to this one. Indianapolis Raceway Weekend, or Indianapolis NASCAR Weekend, is officially a wrap. Trucks, Xfinty, Cup. Two great races on the oval, I felt like, for Xfinty and Cup. And then we had the Truck Series race at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Really want to talk about the Cup Series race and Bubba Wallace, but we're going to start off, as always, with the Truck Series race. Was dominated by Layne Riggs, led the 160 laps of the 200-lap event, won both stages, just dominated this race, was the best truck in the race, just could do whatever he needed to do to keep the lead, to control the race. He could run low, he could run high. Indianapolis Raceway Park is a really cool track. It's like a half mile, I believe. It's very flat, but very worn out. But it says it has like 12 degrees of banking, but I think all of that banking is up towards the wall. It's very flat on the bottom lane, but it makes for some good racing. Finished first in this race. Corey Day finished second in this race. He had a really good run. That guy, Corey Day, is showing why he is being looked at by Hendrick Motorsports and why Kyle Larson believes in him and why Jeff Gordon and Rick Hendrick believe in him. Finishing second. Cory Heim finishing third in this race, man. Cory Heim finishing third wraps up the regular season championship. And I believe that will be 15 playoff points to him to start the playoffs. Not surprising. Cory Heim has 5 wins this season, 14 stage wins, 39 playoff points already. He has just dominated this season. He's been the best truck all year. And the sad part about Cory Heim being so dominant is that he can run through the playoffs and then get to Phoenix and still not win the championship. So that's just the one thing that just so frustrates me, is that, like, we can talk about how great some of these drivers are being, but it may not even matter. Their greatness may not even be rewarded with this current format that we choose to decide our champions in NASCAR. But nonetheless, congrats to Cory Heim. He deserves it. Dominant performance. Overall, this race at Lucas Oil Raceway Park was really good. It was fun. Tire strategy made it interesting with Stuart Friesen gambling there, trying to stay out on old tires there to try to win stage 2. It didn't work out for him. And the sad part about Stuart Friesen, he crossed the finish line third, but was DQ'd for being too low in the front of the truck. So he finished last. Now Stuart Friesen Racing, I forget what was exactly their team name is called. It is, what is it? Yeah, let me see here. It's Hallmar Friesen Racing. They are going to appeal the penalty. They believe that it was due to a malfunction with a piece, or a piece broke, and that's why the front was too low. So we'll see. It definitely stinks. That was a great run for Stuart Friesen. Oregon has a win this year, is in the playoffs. That would have been good points there. Good points day, but now, because of this DQ, he finishes last. And also doesn't get any stage points here, because he usually, when you're DQ'd, you also finish last in all the stages too. You don't get those stage points either, I believe. But again, that was kind of a truck race, quick wrap there. Let's go through our top 10 though, properly here. Layne Riggs first, second Corey Day, third Cory Heim, fourth Grant Enfinger, fifth Ty Majeski, sixth Chandler Smith, and seventh Daniel Hemrick, and eighth Tyler Ingram, ninth Ross Chastain, and 10th Rod Chakaruth. Ty Majeski, he finished fifth in this race. I was a little disappointed. He had speed, and he was up front, right? He finished, let's see here. He finished second in stage 1, and he finished, what is that? He finished sixth in stage 2. He had speed, like I just said, but just nowhere near the 34 speed. But I did think the 34 was going to be fast in this race, just because his short track background. He comes from before he raced in the truck series, he was racing, late model racing at local short tracks. So his skill set at short track was really, really good. Another guy, Ross Chastain. He finished ninth. At one point, Ross Chastain in this race was driving over one of his tires. He was coming down pit road to try and tighten that thing up. The tire fell over, and he kind of ran over it and got like sideways on the thing. It was pretty wild. But it doesn't really mean much for Ross, because he's just running part-time. Rod Chakaruth, top 10 there, was good. That was kind of a truck race in a quick wrap there. I enjoyed it. Cory Heim led 20 laps, and then Stuart Friesen also led 20 laps, but he finished last because of his DQ. Now, the Xfinity Series race. Connor Zilisch wins at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is his 5th win of the season. Connor Zilisch is showing us why he is being so hyped up. He's the next big thing. Just turned 19 years old. All the reports, it sounds like he's most definitely going Cup Series racing next year, replacing Daniel Suarez. He's just a super talented guy. We all knew he could run really well in the road courses, but now he's starting to show us what he can do in the ovals. He's just a special talent, man. And he's a really humble guy. He's really just professional. The way he talks, he is going to be a star. There's a reason why Red Bull is supporting him a lot. There's a reason why WeatherTech is supporting him a lot, and why Trackhouse believes in him. Really cool. But the big news was that this was JR Motorsports' 100th win. JR Motorsports got 100 wins today. 22 different drivers have won for JR Motorsports. Connor Zilisch gets that 100 win. Look, man, JR Motorsports means a lot to NASCAR. It is owned by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Earnhardt's have been part of NASCAR forever. So to see just the success that Dale Earnhardt Jr., JR Motorsports, Kelly Earnhardt, Miller, they have been an incredible tag team together, and they built an empire at JR Motorsports. And this is their 12th win, I believe, this is their 9th win, I believe, in 12 races. This is also, I believe, their 12th win of the season. They started off with 88 wins as a whole, and they're already up to 100. And I think there's still more than 10 races left in the season. So who knows how many more wins they can grab. But no, this is just really cool for them. I know Dale Earnhardt Jr. was worried about not being able to make the next couple races because I think he has other priorities. So to see them get the win. I know a lot of people have been wanting JR Motorsports to go Cup Series racing, but with the way the charters are so expensive, it just hasn't worked out. But they continue to be a dominant force in the Xfinty Series. Currently, in the regular season points, Justin Allgaier is got a 21-point lead over Connor Zilisch. Connor Zilisch is only 21 points back. So that's going to be a fun little battle there coming down these last couple races to see who gets those additional 15 playoff points. It is crazy, though, how dominant Connor Zilisch has been this season, but he still isn't the regular season points leader. Man, Justin Allgaier, I thought Justin Allgaier was going to be the guy to get that 100th win. Racing hard there for the lead with Larson. Larson just got a little tight, it looks like. Came up into the 7 in turn 2 there. Got the 7 into the wall. 7 had massive rear damage. Disappointing for Justin. I know Justin wanted that. And it stinks that he got kind of wrecked by a guy like Kyle Larson, Alliance teammates with Hendrick Motorsports, but also Larson's now a full-time guy. Definitely disappointing. But at least Justin Allgaier doesn't, he still walks away with the points lead still in the regular season points. But he won that win badly for that 100th win. And this race was really fun, guys. Really compelling. Zilisch led laps. Allgaier led laps. I'm trying to think who else was up front here who led laps. Taylor Gray, I guess, led 3 laps there. Larson 7. Yeah, it was mainly dominated by Sam Mayer. Also, Justin Allgaier. Yeah, Sam Mayer led a couple laps, led 32 laps, won stage 1. Justin Allgaier won stage 2. So, yeah, JR Motorsports' former teammate or driver, Sam Mayer, had a really good performance. Sam Mayer also gave the winning push to Connor Zilisch. And I think it was just 2 laps ago. Mayer was third, had a run, and chose to go and push Connor Zilisch past Taylor Gray and set Zilisch free to pretty much take home this win and control it. I think it was with the restart before that, I'm trying to think. There was another accident where, I forget when it was, the situation, but I know there was another chance where Mayer chose to push Taylor Gray. They were side by side. There was 2 times when they were side by side. I think it was back-to-back laps where Zilisch was able to get Taylor Gray loose into turn 2. And when that happened, when Zilisch and Gray were side by side, the one time Sam Mayer chose to push Gray past Zilisch, and then the second time Sam Mayer chose to push Zilisch past Gray, and that's what ultimately allowed Zilisch to get clear. Could have been interesting there. If Sam maybe would have chose to wait to the last lap to do that again and just push Gray ahead, and then hopefully maybe the last lap ticket 3 wide. They got side by side again with Zilisch and Gray. But, you live and learn. Your top 10, we are gonna get to what everyone wants to talk about here with the Austin Hill and Aric Almirola. But first was Connor Zilisch. Second was Sam Mayer. Third, Taylor Gray. Fourth, Kyle Larson. Fifth, Ryan Sieg. Seventh, Williamson Walsh. Sixth, Williamson Walsh. Seventh, Sammy Smith. Eighth, Daniel Dye. Ninth, Justin Love. And 10th, Dean Thompson. Justin Allgaier led the most laps in 37. The second most laps led was Sam Mayer in 32. And the third most laps led was Connor Zilisch. Now let's talk about here the incident that we're all talking about. Austin Hill versus Aric Almirola. Going into turn 3, this was way under 10 laps to go, I believe. Going into turn 3, Aric Almirola bumps the 21. The 21 gets sideways. He's trying to save it. And then all you see is Austin Hill, he saves it. He straightens it out for maybe a second. And then all of a sudden he goes right down and pretty much right hooks the 19 hard into the outside turn 4 wall. It was a hard impact. And I mean, right when I saw it live, it looked like a right hook. It looked like, because you saw how the 21 was able to keep it straight. And then right all of a sudden, boom, right back down into the 19. And I think everyone is on the same page that it looks super intentional. The 21 was pleading his case, saying, I couldn't hang on to it. I was not trying to right rear him, Aric Almirola. He also said NASCAR penalized Austin Hill for a 5-lap penalty, and this is what Austin Hill said. They can go F themselves. F NASCAR, that is effing bull crap. Look, guys, I gotta say, Austin Hill is doing a great job of acting, because he's really pleading like he looks like he's upset, and that's good, but I'm sorry, guys, it looks way too intentional. Because we saw it. You see his white gloves. I mean, he is sideways. He's turning right and left trying to save it. And he saves this thing. And then all of a sudden, you got to look really closely. You just see him turn really hard in one direction. And he keeps turning that one direction. He doesn't even try to bring it back the other way. He just is hard to the left. And it was a massive hit, though, for the 19. It was a scary hit. I mean, Aric Almirola said that it was almost as hard as his crash back, I think it was 2017 or 2018, when he got pretty much the back car, when he got pretty much airborne almost because the back of the car got in the air and he broke his back in Kansas. That's how hard that hit was for Aric Almirola. So I believe and I hope NASCAR, according to Jordan Brown's article, that NASCAR is going to still look at this incident and see if it is worthy of a suspension. My personal opinion, as what the precedent has been set, if you right hook someone intentionally, I believe that deserves a 1-race suspension. But this was even maybe like 2-race suspension because of how egregious it was and how he had nothing broken. Yeah, and also the big thing, I cannot forget about this. According to the new rule, if you miss a race for a non-medical issue, for a non-medical issue or a birth of a child, you will lose all of your playoff points. So that's the thing too, is NASCAR gonna, I'm worried if NASCAR is gonna we don't really want to get rid of all its playoff points, so we're not gonna give him a 1-race suspension. We're just gonna penalize him the crap out of him and take a bunch of points away. According to NASCAR rules, if you miss a race for a non-medical issue, like I just said, or a birth, you will lose all your playoff points. Now, I'm not sure though if you lose your playoff points and you can start to rebuild it back up. Because what it sounds like is that once you lose your playoff points, you will start the playoffs, if you have a win, with 2,000 points. Everyone starts with 2,000 points in the playoffs, and then the way you separate your competition is how many playoff points you have. So we'll see, guys. I'll be interested. I expect a penalty. I think usually a penalty report comes out like Tuesday or Wednesday, so we'll see about this one. Well, that was the Xfinty Series race and a wrap really quickly there. I enjoyed it, guys. It was fun. The new aero package they ran for the second straight year was the Super Speedway engine package, was the intermediate aero package. And I think it was fun. It created those like slingshot passes, but like I felt like if you didn't have a run or any help, you were kind of almost screwed. Like I think, which is fine. I think speed, you still had to have a fast car. It wasn't all reliant on the draft. So I liked it. I mean, it made for a very drama-filled race. So I guess I can't really be complaining about the package. I wish that NASCAR wouldn't try to create a package to try to create exciting racing. I just wish it was more raw and natural. Now it's time to talk about the Cup Series race review. Bubba Wallace wins the Brickyard 400. Bubba Wallace is a Brickyard 400 champion. Held off Kyle Larson for the final 2 restarts. There was talks about fuel. Would Bubba be able to make it on fuel? They stayed out for that 1 overtime restart. They were good for 1. The team didn't know about 2. They stayed out, and it all worked out. Only had 2 overtime restarts, was executing the restarts. Did a great job on the restarts and got the W. But before that, Bubba Wallace is going to win this race, man. Logano was leading, blew a tire. Bubba takes the lead and stretches that lead out to 4+ seconds. Was going to win this race. The rain came. We thought, was that going to be the end of the race? It wasn't. But it didn't matter. Bubba Wallace executed those final 2 restarts. He snaps a 100-race winless streak. This is his crew chief, Charles Denke's first win in the Cup Series as a crew chief. This is the first time an open car, because 2311 doesn't have their charters anymore because of the whole law situation, that an open car has won a NASCAR Cup Series race since Justin Haley in 2019 for the Coke 400. Also, Bubba Wallace is locked into the playoffs. All the times Bubba Wallace has made the playoffs, it's been on points. So now all that pressure that gets built up to make the playoffs is gone. And now Bubba gets to enjoy these next 3 races and try to go out there and win some more races, man. It was just beautiful to see Bubba Wallace post-race, the emotion he showed around his son Bex, his wife Amanda. That was just awesome. It was beautiful. It's one of the most amazing things about sports, to see that raw emotion, man. It was awesome. The fans are, cheering Bubba. The drivers are going up to him. All the distractions that Bubba Wallace goes through all the time, because all these haters out there, he's able to shut those haters up. He gets the win. He wins a crown jewel. He wins the Brickyard 400. 400, man. It's awesome, man. So happy for Bubba Wallace, man. He deserves it. Congratulations. What a performance. But this guy's overall, man, those final 2 restarts, with fuel being a big question, it did cost some people, like a William Byron. Tyler Wright was involved in the accident with Christopher Bell and Zane Smith. We got to talk about that accident. On the first overtime restart, going down the backstretch for the first time of that first overtime restart, we saw the 38 get hooked into the outside wall entering turn 3. It looked like the 20 pretty much hooked him. I first thought maybe the 20 got contact from behind, but it doesn't look like it. It looks pretty bad from the 20. I don't believe it was intentional. I just believe he misjudged it. But not a good look from the 20, though. A bad look. I mean, head on into the outside wall, and especially at Indianapolis, there's no safer barriers on these outside walls. I'm not even sure why that still is, especially when you think about all the safety features. And Indianapolis is one of the only ones that Indianapolis only has safer barrier walls in the corners. So not really sure about that either. But it was a massive hit. Rennick got collected. Rennick chose to pit entering that. He was worried about fuel, and Rennick got collected because he was in the back there. But that was a big hit for Zane. And Zane's maybe solid day. He was Zane was top 20, top 15 type of day. So big hit for Zane. I think he's okay. But again, this race, guys, as a whole, we'll get a little more in detail. But this is a lot of fuel saving in this race. Fuel strategy was important. A lot of different strategy with drivers when you pit, when you don't pit. Passing was hard. It was, the restarts were the most exciting part about this race because they were wild, because that's when drivers knew that was their best chance to pass. Those were super exciting. But once they got kind of strung out, you saw these little snake effects when people were trying to stay on the draft. It was cool, but we didn't see much passing. We saw, like I just said, a lot of fuel saving within the first 15 laps. They were like half throttle. That's where we saw the accident between Ross Chastain and Michael McDowell, where Ross, I guess, kind of blocked the run on the 71, and they're running half throttle still, and the 71 ran in the back, and the 1 crashed the 1. I really don't think it's a racing deal. One guy's saving fuel, and one guy blocks at the same time as saving fuel, and he pays for it. So we saw a couple accidents. We saw tire failures, guys, with the Penske cars. We saw a wheel come off from the 43 hard into the wall. A couple of cars hit the wall and blew tires, so it was weird. There was not a lot of blown tire issues, but there was just still some. But also, I didn't really think tires really mattered much. It was all about clean air, which that's kind of how this racing has been ever since we saw last year's race. We kind of knew it was a track position race. I'm kind of running through it all. But, I mean, I got to say, guys, Penske did a great job on the strategy. I'm not going to be able to give you guys the most perfectly break down this strategy because I get confused. It's confusing. If I'm trying to explain to you guys, like I've said before, I would just sound stupid because I just don't even know where to begin. But both, Joey Logano was in position to win this race. The way their strategy worked out, they took very little fuel. Their last pit stop was 6 seconds, I believe. And they when everyone pitted, they second to the lead. And they were leading. And with how good Joey Logano is at saving fuel, and they've been known for saving fuel, I thought this was Joey's race to win. Unless, Bubba was able to catch Joey sleeping, because I think Bubba was in a better fuel position than Joey, but I'm not sure. With also how hard it was to pass. But it didn't even matter. Joey blew a tire. And then and his good day to have a chance to win the brickyard 400. And then also, Austin Cindric, he was leading this race in stage 2. Really fast car. And he also blew a tire in his day of a really good day. And also, Ryan Blaney won stage 2. And then for some reason, he does the same thing that Brad Keselowski did at Pocono, and he pits when pit road is closed. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know if that would have cost Blaney the win. I'm not really sure when the strategy would have lined up if he would have had a chance, but he definitely would have had. He probably would have been in the top 10. Probably still would have had a shot to win this race. But, just some costly mistakes by the Team Penske. Sorry. Not costly mistakes. Some mistakes, but also some misfortune. Not sure why the tires blew. People were saying that the tires didn't really matter. So I'm not sure about that. We'll probably even learn something about that, why the tires blew like that for only a couple of guys. Another incident in stage 2 was with Eric Jones. They just came out of pit road and then entering turn 3 on full speed. The wheel came off, lug nut came off. He hit the turn 3 wall very, very hard. Now, it looked really hard, but he said it wasn't as big of an impact as it looked. So another, the 43 was up there. He was another guy that maybe, I'm not saying he wouldn't have won the race, of course, but strategy, things happen. But another guy who could have had a really competitive day. And that was really just all in the pit crew, man. I feel bad for some of these drivers that, these pit crew guys could cost their driver a good day and also punish their driver. We as pit crew guys, we make a mistake, don't get your wheel tight. We don't even know if it was tight or not. And then all of a sudden you go into turn 3 or any turn at, over 150 miles an hour and get paid for it by having a hard impact. So that's the one thing you got to think about. These pit crew guys have a lot at stake. One, you fast pit stops, but don't make a mistake, and also don't leave your driver with a chance to have a loose wheel and take big impacts into the wall. We also had a really big incident in stage 1 that took out a lot of guys. It was a stack up. Yes, it was in stage 1, I believe. Let me just No, my bad. It was at the start of stage 2. It was a big stack up. It was in the outside lane. The 47 was involved, the 35, the 8, the 16, the 10. A bunch of different cars. All got damaged. The outside lane didn't get going, but this stack up kind of happened in the back of the outside lane to start stage 2. It tore up a bunch of cars, like I just said, Kyle Busch, Riley Herbst, AJ Allmendinger, and it tore up Ty Dillon. That accident pretty much ended Ty Dillon's chances of winning the in-season tournament. We'll talk about it, but Ty Gibbs is your in-season tournament champion. Really disappointing, especially because it was still really early in the race, and I don't know when it was, just a coordinating effect. Because with the outside, when you're restarting, you're kind of just going off everyone. So, you'll see guys playing little games where they're trying to guess the restart. The lead car, whoever's leading, gets to jump and launch first, hit the gas first, and then everyone else goes on him. So if you have guys that lay back and try to play games, you'll see guys. Pretty much, I think what happened is a couple cars launch, and then they checked up, and then the one car just launches and doesn't check up enough, and then they check up late, and it just a coordinated effect. So disappointing, especially disappointing for Kyle Busch, a guy that just needs a good day, and just damaged again and had to ride around like very slow, and just kind of be pretty disappointing for him again with already a very disappointing season. Chase Briscoe, really good car, won stage 1, but then with the strategy, he stayed in top 10, but he was in the back half of the top 10. So I don't know, it was just a slow stop. I think Team Penske did the best job. They did the best job with the strategy, because whatever they did, they were the first ones to stay out in stage 1 and then pit late in stage late in stage 1, right? It was really fun though when it comes to the whole strategy of pit stops. I guess there was this whole, you had to be within 4 seconds of the leader to not go lap down. So you had guys, they would pit, take 2 tires or 4 tires and gas, and then hopefully their goal was to get out of pit road. No, if you made any mistakes in pit road, you were going to lap down. So everyone was trying to time it where they were able to get all they needed to do on pit road and then get back out there and get going and not get lapped down. So there was a lot, I'm trying to think who all, the 60 went a lap down, the 5 car went a lap down at times. A lot of different strategy allowed for some really, the racing for the lead was really on pit road. That's where you were going to win or lose this race. Yeah, man, there's a lot in this race. The strategy, look, I'm not sure if people like the strategy or not. I know fans probably don't like it. It's hard. I don't mind the strategy. It's just when it comes to trying to podcast it and trying to explain it, it's hard for me to do that. That's why I'm not really going into it, because I would be here for more than half an hour. But yeah, that's just, but the reason the strategy was such a big part in the fuel saving and all that was because you couldn't pass. It was so hard to pass. One groove track, dirty air was a big factor. There was times in this race, guys, where you would see one car get a run on another car. Maybe that one car they're trying to pass is, saving fuel. If you made an attempt to try to pass a car and then you weren't able to get it, and because of the dirty air, you would kind of get loose. Well, you would kill that car that was trying to end that run. That would kill their momentum, and then the car behind that car would make a run, and then they would kill their momentum because they couldn't get around that car, and then it would be like a corner effect where each car was losing momentum. If you didn't, pretty much, if I can make it a little more simpler to explain, if you had a run and you weren't able to complete the pass, you were screwed because you would lose that momentum, and then the car behind you wouldn't be able to make a run and then pass you, or at least try. So it made it for, very fun and exciting at times. Like I already said, I think already, the restarts were the most exciting part about this race, because that's where drivers were the most desperate and most aggressive, because they knew they had to try to make up as much spots as possible. We didn't see that many wrecks. With how crazy these restarts were, we didn't really get any big wrecks from it. Really none. We thought in those overtime restarts we were going to get something big, but we never did. So that's more of a testament to just how good these drivers are and how good of a job they do driving these freaking race cars, man. All right, now let's get into our finishing order. Bubba Wallace wins the race. We already talked about him. Such a cool win, man. Bubba Wallace, just amazing. I saw, he got a call from Michael Jordan there, but just the amount of Heat drivers that went up to him and just congratulated him was really, really cool. And this has just felt so good for him. I couldn't imagine the feeling that he has right now of just happiness and relief, getting to celebrate the win with his son too, man. Beautiful, man. Beautiful stuff. Led 30 laps in this race. Second, Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson, super fast. The strategy just didn't work out there. Those final pit stops where cars are coming lap after lap, really, depending on how much time you spent on pit road, was going to dictate where you're going to come out. So that was just really, this was just the strategy. And Bubba Wallace did the best job at the strategy besides Joey Logano, but Joey Logano tire flat came down. But still, a good run for Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson, we talked about a slump. I think he's out of that slump. He's still Kyle Larson. He's still showing his speed. Third, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin crashed in qualifying, going for the pole, started last. They had to rebuild this entire car, this backup car. They had a bunch of Joker's Racing employees, 2311 employees, a bunch of employees build this car, and it certainly paid off. Coming from last to third. If he probably got to start up closer to the front, the strategy could have worked out for him. But because he probably had to take less and less fuel to get to the front, and then probably had to take more fuel at the end, it probably cost him a couple spots there. But a super impressive run by Denny Hamlin. He's still, right now, he's only within 20 points in the regular season championship. And that's 15 playoff points, guys. So incredible, great job performance by Denny Hamlin. Fourth, Ryan Preece, man. After that Bubba Wallace win, he is now minus 50. He's going to have some work to do, but we have Iowa and Richmond coming up. If you don't know, Ryan Preece's background is modified racing. One of the tracks they go to for modified racing is at Richmond. Brad Keselowski, fifth. Brad Keselowski was in the mix today. Comes home fifth. Good for him. Todd Gilliland, sixth. Great run for him. Congrats to Todd Gilliland. Seventh, Ryan Blaney. We already talked about Ryan Blaney. Could have been right there in the mix if he didn't make some mistakes there with going down pit road when it was closed. Eighth, Christopher Bell. Ninth, Alex Bowman. 10th, Carson Hocevar. 11th, Justin Haley. 12th, John Hunter Nemechek. 13th, Chase Elliott. 14th, Chris Buescher. 15th, Austin Cindric. Congrats to Austin Cindric. A little bit of a rebound because he led 40 laps in this race. Disappointed the tire came out when it did. William Byron finishing 16th. William Byron gambled. He was short on the field there. And was not able to make it all the way around. He would have finished, I believe, third there if he didn't run out of gas, but instead he comes home 16th. A big mistake, disappointing for William Byron because he would have been the regular season points leader if he finished third, but instead it still is Chase Elliott's lead so far. So a missed opportunity, but that's what happens. You have to gamble. Probably, most likely, William Byron may finish worse or finish around the same place he is right now if he goes and pits. So really, you got to take those risks when you're in the NASCAR Cup Series, and the risks just didn't pay off for William Byron. Now we got to talk about this one. Catherine Legge finished 17th. I saw this stat. Let me make sure I can find it. It is. Oh, hang on. Catherine Legge earned her career best finish, 17th, scoring the best finish by a female driver in the Brickyard 400 since Danica Patrick in the 2017 with 11th. This is the fourth best finish in the history of Team Live Fast and the best non-drafting track finish. Catherine Legge did a great job. She was actually top five there near the third stage when all those leaders were making their final pit stop. They were trying to stretch her on fuel and hopefully gamble for a caution. It never worked out, but she was in the mix. I think she's starting to figure out this car, figure out these ovals. And who knows, man, if maybe she was in a better car, we could be seeing Catherine Legge compete, top 10. I don't know. I know that's probably a little insane, but that's impressive. 17th. And that was all natural. That wasn't like some crazy strategy and just a bunch of wrecks. She just did that by herself with her talent and the skill set of her team that she had. So really, really cool run for her. That's really cool. That's awesome. We keep going. Chase Briscoe, like I talked about, kind of that. I don't know if it's just the strategy didn't work out. It took too long on pit road at times. He was really fast, but then just kind of fell off, I guess, throughout the race. Maybe he didn't have the speed he needed. 18th, Shane Van Gisgren. 19th, top 20 for him. Hey, he's starting to figure out these ovals, I think. He actually was pretty competitive. Top 20 all day, stay consistent. Good run for him. 20th, Cole Custer. 21st, Ty Gibbs, who's your regular season champion. We'll talk about him. 22nd, Josh Berry. 23rd, Asia Allmendinger. 24th is Jesse Love. A solid run for a guy who's running a couple part-time races this season with RCR. Who else we got here this year? 25th, Kyle Busch. He got involved in an accident there. Riley Herbst, Daniel Suarez, Ty Dillon, Tyler Redknapp, Michael McDowell, Zane Smith, Joey Logano, Noah Gragson, Josh Bilicki, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Eric Jones, Cody Ware, Austin Dillon, and Ross Chastain were all involved in accidents that caused them to have damage or issues. That's why they finished where they finished. I gotta say, Ross Chastain, he finished last in this race, 39th, and he's been on a slump. I saw a stat from Jeff Gluck that he posted. He said Ross Chastain has hit a rough patch. Since mid-June, he's had 8 top 10s in the first 15 races, and then now only having 1 top 10 10th at Chicago in the last 7 races. So yeah, Rostet's team is kind of hitting a not so good patch. You don't want to have this type of bad momentum going into the playoffs. You have a win, you'll be in the playoffs, but definitely not going great for him right now, especially as the lead guy at Trackhouse when it comes to just the most consistent speed and the one that's usually the one running up front for Trackhouse. Now we're talking about the playoff standings. 13 different winners after Bubba Wallace takes the W. Bubba Wallace fell into 9th in the regular points, playoff points. Plus 38 and 14th is Ty Reddick. Ty Reddick should not have to worry about it. If he just runs his race, he's locked in. He probably will clinch a playoff spot with about 2 races to go if he stays with this type of gap. Plus 138. Then Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman is running really well right now and solid to a point where I feel like he'll be able to clinch his spot on points unless we get a new winner. If we get 2 more new winners, then if we get 1 more winner, then Alex Bowman will be on the buffer of being eliminated if we go to Daytona and have another new winner. So if we have 2 new winners, Alex Bowman will be out of this playoffs. Or out of the playoffs. And then Chris Buescher is now plus 42. Bubba Wallace was the 16th place guy going in this weekend, and now it's Chris Buescher after Bubba Wallace's win. Minus 42 is Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece will now have to try to get past Chris Buescher in points, but 42 points is a lot of points, man. Ryan Preece in his post-race interview kind of talked about he's thinking about winning. Kyle Busch, minus 81. Ty Gibbs, minus 95. AJ Allmendinger, minus 24. They are all thinking about winning. Same thing as Carson Hocevar and Brad Keselowski. I think points racing is most likely over. Now, look, of course, things can happen. I mean, 42 points is still not a lot of points. I mean, you can probably lose that in one race. So, points racing isn't over, but it sounds like the drivers that are below the cut line are all they're thinking about is winning, which will make these last 4 races. We got 2 short tracks, Iowa and Richmond, a road course, Martinsville, and then the wild card, Daytona. It's going to get good, baby. Now, the regular season points battle. Chase Elliott only has a 4-point lead over William Byron. And then in third, Kyle Larson's only 15 points back. And then in fourth, Denny Hamlin is only 20 points back. I wish, man, with all the talk about playoff formats and stuff, man, but I really wish we had a full season points format to decide our champion, because right now this would be awesome, man, with how close everything is, man. That would be so fun to follow along, but we currently don't have that. But no, this next 4 races, though, this is big. Whoever wins the regular season championship gets 15 playoff points. That's massive. And now we're going to 2 short tracks, we're going to a road course, and we're going to Daytona, man. This is another fun battle with a playoff battle that's going to get really fun and really juicy. I cannot wait to see how this one all plays out. And then the in-season tournament. Ty Gibbs is your in-season tournament champion. He beat Ty Dillon. Where did Ty Gibbs finish in the actual race? If I can look for its name, he finished 21st. Where did Ty Gibbs finish? 28th. We kind of talked about it in this race review, but in the start of stage 2, the restart, it was a massive stack up in the outside lane that caused a lot of cars to have front end damage. That killed Ty Gibbs. I mean, your front end, you need a perfect front end. That's how you make your downforce. That's how you make your speed. That's how the aerodynamics work well. When your front of your car is bent up and bowed in, you're not making speed. And also, Ty Dillon, I don't think would have had the speed in general, but the way Ty Gibbs finished 21st, I believe if Ty Dillon just had a clean car, I think he would have been right there. But early damage kind of ended his chances, man. Congrats to Ty Gibbs. Had a cool trophy, got a cool ring, $1 million richer. Hopefully he gets to spend that money. I heard on his TNT broadcast that he plans to use that $1 million to help pay for his dirt racing. So he wants to put more money into the racing, which is good. I think Ty Gibbs is super close to winning a race. Some people may not agree with that, man, but congrats to Ty Gibbs. Jugger's racing there. Good performance. He survived all the rounds. A lot of wildcard racing. I thought this first year, this tournament was good. Somewhat bad, I guess you could say. Because I wish there was a little bit less wildcard. I wouldn't mind if you threw Atlanta in like the 3rd race, but the first race, you just took out all your competition. But if that was NASCAR's goal, they did that. Now, I also will say, though, on the bright side, having drivers like Ty Dillon get shined. Ty Dillon was the star of this bracket. The personality he got to show. I hope fans start to like Ty Dillon because of the way he showed his personality during this tournament. I think TNT did a good job of promoting it. And I think most likely it will be back. I mean, they built a full trophy and they gave Ty Gibbs a ring. So I think this is a good thing for the summer months to have that NASCAR, I think, will continue to have. So in the first year in the tournament, some good, some bad, but I think it was mostly a success in my opinion. Now to wrap up this entire podcast, man, TNT wrapped up their 5 races. And I gotta say, guys, I mean, I would say Atlanta was really, really good, but then Chicago, we had some, just they missed things on the racetrack. Just, it was a little meh. I was like a little bit worried, But that was also because of Chicago. They had different camera angles. They couldn't see the full track. But after that, I thought they did a great, great job. The rest of the races they ran, I'm trying to think where we all ran. We ran at Indianapolis. We ran at Dover. And then we ran at Sonoma. And I thought they did a really good job in those 3 races. I would definitely say this wasn't as good as Prime, but this was definitely way better than Fox. I mean, the energy that TNT brings, the pre-race is really good. The post-race is good. The broadcast is really good as normal with Dale Jr., Steve Letarte, and Adam Alexander. The thing about Fox is that they don't even want to spend money on bringing a stage to the post-race show or even the pre-race show. TNT did that. I think it was really good. I think TNT will improve for the next year for those next 5 races. So I enjoyed it. I think it was a good job by TNT. Better than what we had at Fox, like I just said. But now we move over to NBC for the final 14 races of the season, I believe. I can't wait for NBC. They did a great job last year, and now we'll see what they bring for the 2025 NASCAR season. And I believe Lee Diffie will be the play-by-play with Steve Letarte up there, and I believe Jeff Burton. So looking forward to it all. Well, guys, that's the podcast. Hope you enjoyed that one. I really enjoyed the Brickyard 400 weekend. I think the Brickyard 400 should continue to return. The drivers show how much they want to win it, the emotion they show. Of course, the crowd didn't look super great, but when you got 300,000 seats plus, it's hard to make 50,000 look like a lot. I'm not sure how many people were there, but I think the energy was really good. The drivers wanted it, like I just said. I think the weekend's good. I like how the Truck Series is staying at RRP. I think the Xfinity Series race was good. Cup race was good. Really good weekend, guys. Excited for Iowa. That was a good Cup Series race last week. We'll also have the Xfinity Series race. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to watch the Xfinity Series race because I will be in Bristol for the Speedway Classic, the baseball game inside Bristol. So looking forward to documenting that one. But stay tuned on the content I'm going to post from this podcast and the content I'm going to post that I already filmed. But overall, guys, have a good week. I'm excited to see, what comes out from this weekend when it comes to penalties and stuff. And I also would suggest, guys, Mark Martin will be on the Door Bumper Clear podcast. So I encourage you guys to listen to that one. That's going to be a good one. I can't wait to listen to that one. But have a good week, guys. See you next week after Iowa. Goodbye.